Namaste everyone. Welcome to Sangam Talks. First of all, thank you so much for joining on a Monday evening. We have a very interesting session lined up for today. And the speaker is none other than Robert Rosario ji. He's a socio-political activist and a thinker, speaker, and writer. He's also a part of the working committee of the organization called Hindustani Christians. And talking about today's title, which is Church and the Politics of Religion in South India. So this talk will lay threadbare everything about religious conversions and its fallout on Indian politics, Indian civilization, the church's involvement in the political narrative, propaganda, and international lobbying to corner India on international fora. Also, the church being the Vatican's directly controlled body in India is a danger to the unity, integrity, and the internal security of the nation. So, without any further ado, I would request Robert G to take over the floor.
So, okay, all that what you have narrated is because when we talk about conversion, religious conversion, it is religion. We think it's only religion, and we never go out of the perspective of religion and think. So what is wrong? If someone changes the religion, it is personal. After all, it is my personal belief. I believe in this, tomorrow I'll believe in this, day after tomorrow I believe in this. Is it that simple? My question is that. So religious conversion is not that simple because there is politics attached to it. It's not that Indian people are making politics or the political parties are making politics. The church itself is politics. The very fundamental nature of church is politics. It is a political organization, biggest political organization on earth in the garb of religion. So that point, if you understand, then the whole picture becomes very clear, what we are saying today. So it's not mere purely my belief, my relation with God. The church explains in that way. It is their strategy, to explain, to make it so simple that it is my relation with God. I can talk to my God. Why others should bother. My God was fake God till yesterday. Today I have embraced the real God. See all that. But the real intention behind it is political. The very inception of church is political. The very birth of church is political. So Jesus Christ never started the church. Now they call it Christianity. What rather I would call it, it is not Christianity, it is churchianity. Christ never started Christianity. He was a great person, great social worker or a great human being who practiced what he preached. What he preached in his lifetime, he practiced exactly. But the church is doing exactly the opposite thing. They never practice, they only preach. There are a lot of preachers we see in Christianity. A lot of there are world-class preachers, there are national level preachers, the state level preachers. But do you find any practitioner? No. There is no practitioner. It's only and only preaching. The religion is only about preaching. When we talk about, simplify, we make things very simple. We simplify things in India because there is a language problem also. There is no exact term in English for dharma. So everything is made into religion. So Hindu, they call it Hindu religion. So Hindu is reduced to religion. Actually, Hindu is a dharma. Dharma is a much bigger word. Dharma has evolved over years, not even centuries, over millenniums, over thousands of years. It has evolved, and a system, perfect system, has still there may be chance for making it perfect. But as on today, the perfect system, what we see is dharma. So a religion cannot be compared with dharma. A religion is started by one person, or rather, someone else started in his name. In Islam, maybe there is the person and the person who religion is same. But in Christianity, Jesus never started. Somebody else started in his name. And they named it as Christianity. And in real sense, it is churchianity. The whole purpose is political, I said. See, you need to rule the world, entire world. We have seen the colonial era. We ourselves, Indian subcontinent, we ourselves have been a victim of colonization like many other countries on earth. So how to control the entire world from one epicenter sitting in one corner of the world? You need to control the entire world, and it is not possible with military or police. So in the absence of military and police, how do you control the entire world? Politics. It is religion. So the tool used is Sunday after Sunday, you call the people in the garb of religion and brainwash them. So Sunday you brainwash them. Throughout the week they will be in that hangover. By Saturday, when that indoctrination goes down, again you recharge on Sunday. So through this process, control the entire world. This is religion. When you understand this, and in the backdrop of this, in the light of this, what I said, you look at conversion, then the picture becomes very clear why there are conversions. Obviously, I said the goal is political. So to achieve this political goal, you need members. So Christianity or the conversion is nothing but membership drive. See, to put it in very simple words, we know there is membership drive of Congress, there is membership drive of BJP, there is membership drive of any other party. Just like that, there is membership drive of church, and it is called religious conversion. So to make it more simple, I'll tell you, a child born to a Christian parent, father is Christian, mother is Christian, everybody at home is Christian. A new child is born. Does it become Christian by birth? No. It doesn't become Christian by birth. It needs to be Christian. The very word Christian is, no, it is synonymous with naming ceremony. We have actually, for naming, we are calling it Christian. It is not naming ceremony. It coincides. So when a child is about 30 days or 40 days, or maybe between 30 to 50 days, you name it. Along with that, you baptize it. So the moment a child is baptized, it becomes Christian. So that means by birth, nobody is a Christian. So it is admitted. So what is baptism? Baptism is nothing but admitting the child into the party, the so-called political party of Christianity, and that is called then it becomes a member. The very child becomes a member of church, and that is called henceforth the child is Christian. So if the child, suppose if the child dies before that baptism, it is for us, what they taught in the church is it doesn't go to heaven because there is original sin. A child is born with original sin, and only in baptism that original sin is wiped away. The child becomes pure and very pure when baptism is given. Till then, the original sin is there. So a newborn child also doesn't go to heaven because there is original sin. So with this, indoctrination, the members are made. So just like a Christian parent's child becoming Christian, adults are also admitted. I said 30 days old child is admitted into Christianity through baptism. Similarly, when the parents are not Christian, they are Hindus or someone else, the church wants someone to induct, so it is called baptism again. So adult baptism. At any age, they can baptize. Mother Teresa, you can see at the, just before 5 minutes of his death, I baptized. Mother Teresa herself says there are videos, and he went to heaven. Throughout life, he was not in Christ. He just embraced Christ. Within 5 minutes, he died and he went to heaven. So it's a ticket to heaven also. So Christianity is, the indoctrination is a ticket to heaven, baptism, and thereby you become a member. In the real worldly sense, it is a political membership. You become a member of a political party which is controlled by higher ups, wherein you have no absolutely rights. You have no rights there. You have only duties and duties. Your duties: pray, pay, and obey. These are the major duties of a Christian. You have to pray when the priest is, and what you have to pray, you can't pray as you want. You can't pray as you like. You can't tell the prayer that you need to pray. The church has given a prayer. There is a standard prayer. You have to pray only that. Of course, there are personal prayers are allowed in between, small, but the major prayer is what is given by the church, and church strictly controls that prayer. So without the imprimatur, there is something called licensing agency called imprimatur. When the prayer doesn't have imprimatur, that prayer is invalid. Even God doesn't listen to that prayer because there is no imprimatur. Who issues the imprimatur? The bishop of the region issues the imprimatur. So only that prayer is standard. So our job is to pray through that prayer and pay. Whenever the church asks us to pay, you pay. After paying, you have no right to ask. There is absolutely no right. Now the church, you might have heard a lot of hue and cry. There is no right to dissent. No, government is not allowing us to talk. But within church, absolutely there is no right at all. Forget. They want right to dissent from the government. But within church, there is absolutely no right to dissent, neither there is any right when I pay, I don't even have the right to ask for the accounts. So what happened to my money? I cannot ask. The moment the money changes hands, it goes from my hand to the church. My job is over. Then church controls. I can't ask anything. What they do with the money, it's up to them. And they give account to the God. So that system is also there. They take money from me and give account to God. It's just like you're taking loan from Peter and paying back to Paul. Or maybe you're taking loan from Canara Bank and giving answer to syndicate, State Bank, just like that, something like that. So money they are not taking from God, money they are taking from people, and account they are giving to God. So this indoctrinations are done. Then obey. So first thing is you pray, then pay, then obey. Obey what? Whatever the command comes from the top, you have to obey. So where does the command come from? It comes from Vatican. It's one epicenter to the entire globe. From Vatican, the command comes through the bishop to the padre. From the padre, it is delivered to the people. And so that command you have to obey. So these are the duties of a Christian. So when entire world population becomes Christians, so very simple now how to control, because they have to pray, they have to pay, and they have to obey. So you don't require any military, neither do you require any police to control them. And day after, Sunday after Sunday, you need to brainwash them. So that if you have enough number of priests, padre, and evangelists, or semi-padres or nuns, that's enough. Your job is done. This is the whole idea of religion. Now, in this backdrop, when you see this, this political, talk today of religious conversion, you get an idea. So what I am saying, what is happening on the ground means the political ground. So in the entire South India, today's topic is South India. So what the church has done, so for the past 50, 60 years, if you see, the church has percolated to every institutions in this country. And more particularly in South India, particularly to be very specific in Tamil Nadu, I can very categorically say today, the entire politics of Tamil Nadu is in the hands of the church. The ruling party belongs to the church. I mean, the handmaid of the church. The opposition party is also handmaid of the church. So to that extent, church controls, because both these parties are a product of Dravidian movement, the so-called Dravidian movement, which started a few decades ago. And this Dravidian movement, the very brain behind this Dravidian movement was the church. It was anti-Brahmin movement, because that is again a strategy to divide the Hindu community. You demean the Brahmins and you praise the lower caste. You are great people. These people have always held you in low esteem. So we will liberate you. The church will liberate you. So through this indoctrination, they started this anti-Brahmin movement. There was a Dravidian movement. It succeeded to such an extent. The entire political scenario of Tamil Nadu is in the hands of church. The ruling DMK is the handmaid of church. The opposition party is also a Dravidian party. See, to that extent, you can control politics. No other party has the advantage of having both ruling as well as opposition, but the church has that advantage. See the beauty of it. So this is the danger I am talking about. And other states also. The Tamil Nadu is very specific, very, very clearly, the result is very clearly visible. When you come to Andhra and Kerala, Karnataka, Orissa, part of Orissa, so this entire South belt, similar strategy is working for many years, and it has paid good dividend, it has paid good results. The Andhra is also, very much Christian as of today. If there are no, direct Christians, there are crypto Christians. Again, that facility is there. If you want to practice Christianity, but you don't want to lose the government facilities, then okay, you can practice Christianity, and you can be on the record. You can be a Hindu. Now that advantage is there. So this crypto Christian figure nowhere comes in the survey. Today you might have heard the bishop is talking about, the archbishop is talking about, we are only 2%, we never grown. The reason is this, because the moment they openly declare they are Christians, they lose all the government facilities. There are reservations as per the caste and the caste lines. Those reservations they are likely to lose. So they don't want to lose that. So there is a provision. You practice Christianity, but be a Hindu on the record. So that percentage, if you count, it must be very, very high. It's not surprising even if it is 10% or even higher than that. So it's not just 2%. And what the church believes is, even when the population is 2%, it can control the entire narrative. That they have practiced in other countries successfully, and here also they are practicing it very effectively. The very micro minority in Christians is clergy, and among them, very micro minority is the bishops, and these bishops control the entire narrative, entire political narrative of this country. They control, and our political parties are just the players. When we see many players and many parties playing in a team, playing in a sport, but who is setting the rules of the game? It is the church is setting the rules of the game, and these parties are only the players. They are not able to change the rules of the game. The rules are, and these rules of the game in politics are called political narrative, and the political narrative is completely controlled by the church. Even the fake narrative spread now. A lot of fake narratives. I don't want to diverge into fake narrative now. That is part of political. To make it a political narrative change the direction which they want. Change the course of political dialogue in such a way that they create such fake narrative, and all political parties fall after it. Ruling party, opposition party, and the direction goes in that way. That's exactly what the church wants. They have achieved everything through this. So look at things in this perspective, in this anti-conversion law, to make it very clear. Now, see this anti-conversion bill that's coming up in Karnataka. The Catholic bishops have, started addressing press conference opposing it. When there was talk about conversions, some groups are, that Goli Hatti Shekhar started the debate in assembly, Vidhan Sabha. Then the entire focus was on those groups who are actually on the ground into conversions. What did the Catholic clergy, Catholic bishops say? We are not doing conversion. We are not doing it. Somebody else is doing it. All right. If you are not doing it in conversion, then why you are bothered about this bill at all? This bill is against conversions. When the Catholic Church is not into conversions, why should they bother at all? It's not their business. But they are the first ones, and they're the only ones talking. Those, the so-called groups, outside this Catholic world, which are not in our control, they are doing it. Then why you are batting for them? That's my simple question. See, there's a simple logic. I am not into theft. I am not a chore. I am not into theft. The government wants to bring a strong bill against theft. Then why I should bother? Correct? No. If I am gaining something from directly or indirectly through chori, then only I should be bothering about any law about it. Otherwise, why should I bother? Okay. No, they are talking about now that law will be misused. That's another, fake narrative. So every law is misused for that purpose. Every law that is made in this country, or for that matter, anywhere in the world, any law is likely to be misused. So does it mean that it should not make laws at all? So there are law against theft, there is law against robbery, there is law against rape, there is law against murder. So even that law is likely to be misused, and often we see they are being misused. So does it mean that you scrap all the laws? So misuse is not the answer for not bringing in the law. So legislation should be brought in, but there should be some safeguards. But I have my own reservations about this, what the Karnataka government is proposing, the legislation. Because I see, very specifically I can tell you, I see the very fundamental problem is in the Constitution. So what does the Constitution say? There is Article 25 of the Constitution which very clearly says the freedom of religion, freedom to practice, propagate, and all sorts of conversion is possible in that. Propagation is there. So when there is it's given as a right to propagate, then I don't know how any bill can override that right unless you change that article. That's my understanding, being a student of law. Government may say we have no majority to change the Constitution, but this bill, I don't know whether it will turn out to be a toothless one or it may be just a political gimmick. I don't know. The real problem is in the Constitution, which the Article 25 is not required at all, because this country, this land, this civilization has given enough right to people for ages, that to practice their personal freedom is very, very high compared to any other place in the world. Indian people have enjoyed maximum liberty. It may be religion, it may be anything. The personal liberty is very high here. So that very article was not required at all. Even if somebody wants to change the belief system, who is going to stop it? Why it was introduced in the first place at all in the Constitution? I find again a very manipulation there. Again, I see a hand of the church there in putting that article in the Constitution. It has succeeded to that extent. So just imagine, it's not a small thing. Church has managed to put something in the Constitution at that level, at that stage in the year 47. So it shows its strength. Now, that's why they're talking about, see, on one hand, the bishop says we are not into conversion. At the same breath, in the same sentence, the second part of the sentence is Article 25 guarantees us. So when we are not into conversion business, why do you need the right? And why do you need the Constitution at all? He knows there is a strong point in the Constitution which is favoring him. He doesn't want to lose that. But to make the people, to pacify the people, he says we are not into conversion. But the Constitution gives us a guarantee. So it's a very contradicting. So he should make very clear himself. Either he is supporting conversion or no. If he is supporting conversion, then okay, he can say Constitution guarantees. There is a Constitution given us the right. Let him make it categorical. Yes, we are converting. Let him have that courage. Why this, duplicity? This is my very obvious question to him. Then again, he says, this fake narratives, Christians, the rise on Christian, the rise on attack on Christians will increase. That's another fake narrative. The very challenge to Archbishop Peter Machado is, give me a single example of attack on Christians. Forget about rising. When the cases rise, when there are already existing, I find there is not even a single case. Now, I have thrown an open challenge in social media for the past 6-7 years. Give me one single example of persecution of Christians by Hindus in this country. I gave the time limit of 70 years. You can extend it to 700 years also. Give me one example, single example. Nobody could give me. They talk about numbers, so many attacks on Christians, so many persecution, so many. But give me one example, concrete example with all details, so that I can go and verify the truth behind it. I need to check the witnesses. They are not giving, because there is no persecution. It may be surprising to you. The entire media talks about persecution, but I am challenging, and nobody is coming forth to give me one example of persecution of Christians by Hindus in this country. So what does it suggest? Entire thing is fake narrative. So the very attack on Christians is fake narrative. Now again, rising in the number of attacks is also a fake narrative. So through this fake narrative, it wants to control the entire polity. And this is how it is responding to the conversion bill. So now the burden comes on we the people of this country, the people of this state, and the real, the right thinking people need to talk about this. We need to ask questions. We can't, put everything on the political parties. They do anything for political, gimmicks. They might, it's after all, their aim is votes. Who will vote us in the next election? So all these bills are with an eye on the votes. So we, the real sensible people, should be, thinking seriously about it and put the track, this narrative, put the narrative on right track, from the deviations. That responsibility on us. So I believe, through this Sangam talks, people start speaking in the right direction and talk against Article 25. Forget about this, anti-conversion bill. Our question should be why there is an Article 25 in the Constitution at all. This country never opposed anybody any right. Then why the hell you want to, promote something through an, constitutional provision? That article is not required. There are many other articles. Today I'm specifically talking about Article 25 because it is directly, connected with religious conversion. So, okay, those who want to convert, let them convert, no problem. Remove that article. Let it not be my fundamental right to convert others. So again, one thing I want to say here. See the funny thing in the Constitution. Article 19 and Article 21 talks about personal freedom. It guarantees us the personal freedom. And Article 25 guarantees religious freedom. Now, what is religious? What is religion? I told in the earlier part itself, being a Christian, I have absolutely no right. The moment I am baptized and become a Christian member of the church, I lose all my fundamental rights. My job is only to pay, pray, and obey. That's all. So this Article 25 gives the right to the church to take away my fundamental rights. See the beauty here. At one stage, Constitution says I have all rights. But at the other side, it gives right to the church to take away my rights by conversion. Once I am converted, I have no fundamental rights. I have no right to speak. I have no right to express my mind. I have no right to dissent. I have no right to ask for the accounts from the church. So these my fundamental rights are gone. And see the beauty in the very rule book. See the audacity. The very rule book made by the church. The bishop is making the rule book. It's binding on all the church members. Very categorical says there are elected bodies in the church committees. For the sake of for iWatch, they have elected committees in the church. The padre is the head of it. Padre is the president. There are elected bodies. The rights, the so-called rights of the elected bodies are very beautiful. You need to read these rules. Now, what does it say? Any elected member. Now, after all, getting elected again, there are so many conditions. He should be very obedient to church. Okay, even if he gets elected, after getting elected, if he sees some theft in the church, some theft by padre, if he gives a police complaint, his membership goes away. See the beauty. He sees the theft, he gives a police complaint, his membership goes away. Now you may say it is done to to discourage going to police and for amicable settlement. That provision may be there. If you say what the next provision says, if the padre gives a complaint against the church member, then what happens? Does the padre lose a membership? No. This person loses the membership. So padre can go to the police station and complain against me. I lose the membership. When I give a complaint against the padre to the police station, again I lose the membership. Such provisions are there in writing. And we are talking about democracy. We are talking about right to dissent. No, not we. The church is talking about. The very church who is trampling upon my fundamental rights. This contradiction they are living with, and the so-called media, secular media is, I don't know where it is sleeping and why their eyes are closed. This fact, this rules, this thing I have told earlier in the public. It's not that I'm talking for the first time. The media is not interested in picking this. How can the church make such rules which are against my fundamental rights? If I give a police complaint on theft, my membership goes. It's very ridiculous. It goes against Article 21. It goes against Article 19. But church has that right. Now tell me whether the constitution maker had no idea about religion or they were under some pressure to introduce this. This is a question open to the public. I'm not giving any opinion. I just want you to think over this. What made the constitution writers to put this article at all? Did they never knew anything about religion, or they were under some pressure? It's the obvious question. I think with this, I come to the conclusion. Let us answer when there are questions, because the flow goes as per the questions. Otherwise, I'll be talking on. It's a vast subject. So channelizing to very small thing is, it's not an easy job.
I have a question. There are separate churches. One person will not go to the other church, and the other person will not go to this church. But how the Vatican is controlling the entire church?
What's your question? There are so many groups. Yes.
They don't have any differences between them. They are a lot of difference. One entity.
There are a lot of difference to the extent that they can cut each other's throat. To that extent, they have differences. But when it comes to attacking the Hindus, they all join together. That's the beauty.
like how we can use this as a tool, and the Hindu can break them from inside.
No, you can't use this as a tool at all, because the church actually, after all, the Catholic Church controls all that. Let us have difference among us, but we will fight the Hindus. Why Christians, even Muslims also will join together? Christians, Muslims, all join together and attack the Hindus. Christians and Muslims are never together in the world outside India. They're exactly like opposite poles. They never come together. But in India, they come together. See the beauty. This is their political strategy.
Okay, I'm from Karnataka basically, so yeah, I'm from Mysore side. I don't see much conversions here, but I see towards the coastal region, and they're not radical as compared to other regions.
No, there need not be conversions only. See, we are talking about only conversion. There are enough number of apologies for the church. That's more dangerous. And there are urban Naxals. That is even more dangerous. Even I would say to some extent, even direct conversion will be better than these apologies. Among Hindus, there are so many apologists talking for the church. And there are urban Naxals, extreme urban Naxals. That's even more dangerous. And that is rampant in Mysore also. Better remind it.
Okay. And my last question is like, why the people inside the church don't come out of this indoctrination?
It's not possible, no. That's what I told in the beginning. Because Sunday after Sunday, you are brainwashed. You are indoctrinated to such an extent that you can't come out of it in your lifetime. Forget simple people, even the highly qualified people. I don't want to name here. They are not able to come out of it. Forget about very simple people or common people. Highly educated.
Okay. Then the responsibility will be on the Hindus to educate them.
Obviously, yeah. The majorities are the Hindus. And it is a question of survival of Hindus. So who should do it? Survival of Hindus should do. Somebody else should do that, their survival.
I'm from Andhra, and I'm from the coastal area of Andhra. That is Visakhapatnam and Bapatla. And we have a lot of conversions happening around in the Andhra, including the government encouraging these conversions and the churches as well, and the funds being misused for the churches and other conversion prayer houses and such. So my question to you, sir, lately I've been seeing a lot of my friends as well, whom I was thinking were Hindus or practicing or not practicing, have been highly qualified and educational as well. Let them be doctors or engineers and any high post. So they've been converting into Christianity, as in not as per their religion, as in they want to remain Hindus as per the names in the caste and in the religion, but their faith, they say their spiritual and their faith is only with the Christianity. So my questions were, when I have debates with them and arguments with them, I couldn't find any concrete evidence as per law to counter them saying, see, either you follow Christianity and convert, or or just follow one faith and say you're a Hindu. If you're a Hindu, follow Hinduism. If you're a Christian, follow Christianity. So is there anything as per law where I can show them of concrete evidence that, see, if you are converting, it's best that you remain a Christian or you remain a Hindu as such?
There is no law as such, and I think that it is not possible also to make a law like that. Because please remember one thing: don't depend on laws. Nothing happens by law. Laws are made just for our simple things. Not for no major problems of this country are never solved by laws. I can give many examples. The major terrorism, the major underworld problem was never solved by law. It was solved by something else, through encounters or something like that, which was never legal. So when you talk about major, this our constitution is not made for solving major problems. It is some of the rules are made only to make the life miserable of the common people. So now, coming out of this law, what you can do is narrative. See the narrative, the political narrative set by the church. Why don't you challenge it? The big thing you can do is challenge their narrative and create your own narrative. That's more powerful than the law. Forget about the law, forget about legal action, forget about sending them to jail. Make them irrelevant in the society. The narrative has to be controlled, or it should be taken away from them. That's the job expected of you.
So how can this narrative be initiated when, as in, see, if I'm from a place called Bapatla, and majority are Christians, about 80% or so, and when in small community, including when they have political backups and other the police as well. So how can we initiate this narrative in when there is suppression from above? Do you have any suggestions?
No. See, now it's the world is moving moved by the social media. We are no more, we are no more gulams of this the so-called controlled media earlier. 10 years, 20 years back, we had no tool. We had to completely depend on the media, and media was completely controlled by the church from the top to bottom. So the whatever narrative the media gave, we had to accept. There was no other way. But today the tool is in our hand. See, my own example. I was not visible 10 years back. Now I am visible. I was talking 10 years back also, but not visible. Today I am talking. I am visible. So the social media makes it possible. So I have been fighting these drugs for the past 25 years. Did you hear me any time before? Because the media never gave me the coverage. No space. The same strength and vigor, same force, strength and vigor I have been fighting for a long time. But now I'm visible. So you also can make, I'm not saying to that extent what I have done. In a small way you can start, small questions you can ask. So, when you become Christian, you lose your fundamental rights. Why do you agree to that? Okay, your faith is okay, you practice Christian, but why do you want to surrender yourself? To something like that, which make them think.
Sir, I have a few set of questions, but let me start with what you just said now in response to the previous question, which is, so it appears that you are saying that going or looking up to the law, or for that matter, as you pointed out, Constitution and some of its idiosyncrasies which have crept in over there, or which have been deliberately added over there. There's no point bothering about some of those. The Hindus have to basically take things in their hands and go and try to build a community or talk about things in social media and all, and try to challenge that. I want to understand how a lot of this external funding of the churches and the support institutions. In fact, would you be kind enough to share some of this ecosystem which is out there, which actually assists, helps, supports this whole narrative building which you're talking about, and also the conversion, or whatever you want to call it, on the ground? Would you be kind enough to just paint a broader picture? Like, I know there are a lot of educational institutes which are funded and run by various churches or similar institutions. But beyond that, I don't think, at least I understand the ecosystem.
So his question was mainly about funding. So, okay, one thing what the present central government, as soon as it came to power in the year 2014, the first thing and the best thing they did was, controlling these NGOs, foreign funded NGOs in India, which have been receiving a lot of money from abroad. Lot means really lot of money. That they have been able to, curb to a great extent. But my, saying always has been, the money generated internally within India is not small. It's a very huge money, because church is the biggest landlord in India after government. The urban land I'm talking about, I'm not talking about agricultural village land, urban, the cities like Bengaluru, cities like Mangaluru, cities like Mumbai. You just imagine in Mumbai, 1 cent of land costs in crores, 1 cent. But church has acres and acres of land. Acres I am talking about, not cents. Acres of land church is having right in the heart of the city in Mumbai. And Mumbai land prices are probably the costliest on the globe. Their church is having property, and it is the same thing across India. And the revenue is generated from that property. From the institutions, money is generated. From hospitals, money is generated. From schools, it is generated. From throughout. And whom they are accountable to? None. Absolutely none. Not to the people, not to the community, not even to the government. So government can do a lot here. They do control the temples, they do control the mutts, but they don't control the churches. No, and church monies, I have pointed out a lot of cases where there have been misappropriation, and to the tune of crores and crores of rupees, not in lakhs or thousands, in hundreds of crores. Certainly, the government can and has to do something about this money. It's big money, and at least the community should be benefited out of this money. Or if there is too much of extra money, it can be used for the other public purposes also. And this money is playing havoc, real havoc. That needs to be controlled. So again, to pressurize the government, again we have to talk. Again, our tool within our limit is to talk, because till it reaches the government, why don't you control this, ill-gotten money of the church, which is generated internally? And how much money is generated, I can give figures. I have already given.
So when you talk about internal money, you're talking about the revenue generated because of all this land which churches have. Am I correct?
Yeah, all, not only land, everything, all institutions, land, money comes from, and even collection from common people. Forget about land and institutions. Sunday collections are not small. Don't think to be a very small amount. They're huge amounts. And whom are they answerable to? I pay to the church. Do I get that account? No.
So my next question is about what are the factors which led to such a remarkable success of Christianity, especially in southern India? Were there any key factors which resulted in such a widespread success?
No, if you see the world scenario, if you see the world across, what you say success is actually a failure. They have succeeded much higher throughout the world, except India. The same amount of effort, if they had put somewhere else outside India, they would have reaped 10 times or 100 times more. Here they have put a lot of effort, but still they have been able to achieve this because there is an effort of decades and a lot of money and sweat they have spent. And slowly this community, this has changed, and they are not doing it directly. I told in the beginning itself, they're not directly coming in the garb of religion. They come through fake narratives, they come through these apologies, they come through these urban naxals, and they will brainwash you. They said, see, that is best, this is good, education institutions are good, Christians are doing good service, let us enjoy the service, we need not convert. So okay, you start enjoying their services, and without your knowledge it becomes turn out to be the gulams. And this is what has happened. See, I told you, the best example I gave, Tamil Nadu. What happened in Tamil Nadu? Nobody realized what they started 50, 60 years ago. It is Dravidian movement. Where is church in that? Nowhere. Dravidian. We Dravidas. We are for our honor. This Brahmin class has suppressed us. So we are fighting for our honor. So the church is nowhere around. You never knew church is the exact brain behind it. Now you realize church is the brain behind it. You never knew. So it is Dravida movement. Now people have risen against the Brahmins. So who was the key factor? The church. So these are, I told you, they have mastered this art of, breaking societies. They have thousands of years of experience how to make the societies break. They have exactly used it. So Tamil Nadu is a typical example.
If you can share a bit about Hindustani Christians and some of the success stories.
Success stories in the sense, Hindustani Christians is people like me. You know what I am now. I am not alone. What I want to say is, there are many like me who may not be vocal like me or may not be able to express like me. They have an idea. They know something is wrong. They are working on the ground. So may not come out openly because, everybody can't, be articulate as one can be. So a substantial number of people, we have come together to form this group called Hindustani Christians. We are into this. We are exactly doing what we need to do, what I am talking now. And whenever the church, does these all mischiefs, we counter them. Now, see, this Archbishop is, once he said, on behalf of people of Karnataka, I am giving. I said, who the hell are you? Through Hindustani Christians. We give the statement, you are not our representative, we have not elected you, neither we have appointed you, neither we have recommended your name to Vatican. You have come directly through Vatican. Now, how can you talk about Christians of Karnataka? This is what we said. Earlier, nobody was there to say this, and government thought, yes, he is the representative. I'm asking, he is not our representative. Rather, he is the representative of Vatican because he is appointed by the Vatican. He may be a citizen of India. He may be born here by birth. He may be a Kannadiga, or his mother tongue is Konkani, but studied in Kannada medium, Kannadiga, just like me. And my mother tongue is Konkani. But doesn't mean that by heart and soul he is Indian. His allegiance is to Vatican. His allegiance is not to Indian Constitution. So he cannot speak for the Christians of Karnataka. So simple opposition. We did it from Hindustani Christians.
Nice, sir. And sir, also if you can share your personal story with us.
Personal stories, I have booked a few cases against Padre and Bishop on misappropriation. To be specifically, crores of rupees have been misappropriated. 5 criminal cases, and some of the cases are going on. There are also, crimes of moral turpitude, sexual harassments. All those complaints we have filed. And I said earlier, they have percolated every institution, and so much so in the judiciary also. So they're controlling the politics, they are controlling the judiciary also to a great extent. In the future, within few days, I'll give specific examples how they are, percolated to the judiciary. So I find difficulty there also.
Yes, sir. So that's there. But what I was trying to ask was how did you start with it? I mean, आपको कैसे trigger हुआ या कैसे you got to learn about this entire setup of Christianity and the role of church since what age? And
I'm a born Christian. Born, matlab, by birth you don't become Christian. At the age of 30 days, I became Christian. So since then, practicing Christian, I was the most active member in the church. I have been member at every level. As a child, I have been altar boy. As a youth, I have been a member of the youth movement. Then I have been a member of the church council. Then at the Warada council, at the diocese level council, I have seen almost every position in the church set up. So I worked at every level. It's not that I'm talking from outside. So just in the year 2009, I quit from all these posts, and I said I should talk openly from the open front. Then also I was talking. When I was inside, also I was talking openly. But I tried all my try to reform within. It is not possible. When I am convinced after 15 years, so right from the year 1994 to 2009, being the member of the councils, the elected bodies, I tried to bring in so many changes, but never succeeded because the system is such. I realized this system is not to be repaired; it is to be accepted. I refused to accept it. And from 2009, I said, hell with you. I don't want to be any committees. I'll talk in the open. Let us see what you do. So since 2009, I've been talking outside. Earlier, I was talking outside as well as inside. So inside story, I know.
SN Bhargavaji is asking if you have written any book, and if you can share about the same.
Not yet. Maybe in the future I'll write.
Yes, looking forward to it.
So far I have been fighting on the ground, in the battlefield as a soldier. So writing a book is you're confining yourself to 4 walls. Not confined myself to the 4 walls. I have been in the field, taking on these monsters.
How a Christian can become like you, like think like you, and what are the questions we can implant or make you like think like you and come out and just help the society?
No, it's not easy to come out of the indoctrination. I already said it's very difficult. In the highly qualified people have failed to come out of the indoctrination. Though they are talking against the church in many ways, but when it comes to indoctrination, they fall into the trap. Now, I have many examples like that. So it's a really tough job coming out of the indoctrination. However, one can talk about their misdeeds. That a lot of people are doing in India. We have other organizations which are talking in the open. Earlier they weren't talking about all the misdeeds of the church. There is something like Association of Concerned Catholics, AOCC, which is there in Mumbai, which is there in Bengaluru, Mangaluru, Mysuru, Goa, everywhere. So that is, talking very openly about the land grabbing and fund misuse and all crimes of the church. So there are people who are talking, but maybe to some extent they are still under the influence of indoctrination as far as the religious indoctrination is concerned.
And like Hindus need a training on this, like how to ask questions, specific questions, and how to deal with them. I have a specific scenario where my relative is converted. So he's, I think I have not talked to him, but I've talked to the relatives. But I just want to take up this uh, and have a discussion with him.
Okay, try that. But this again, you're talking to an indoctrinated mind. So I don't know how far this reasoning works there. If the person was, with reasoning, he wouldn't have fallen into the indoctrination at all. Or maybe by chance he has fallen into the indoctrination. Try this logical thinking. But, it's difficult in an indoctrinated mind.
But we have the responsibility, as you told.
Yeah, of course, you have the responsibility. You have to do that. You have to attempt. I'm not saying that don't attempt, but don't take it as success is guaranteed. You may have to do a lot of work, because the indoctrination part is really, it's a question of heaven and hell. It's not the question. It's not only a question of this life. It's a question of your next life. The hell is guaranteed or heaven is guaranteed. From that situation, how do you bring them out? I may be suffering a little in this life, doesn't matter, and heaven is guaranteed in the next life. If you say it's like that, how will you convince him? No, there are such challenges. So,
is there any organization I can contact in Mysore? You can suggest or anything?
Organization, no. I said we have AOCC, but I don't know how much they will be able to help you in this regard.
Being a youth myself, when I talk to my peers, my friends at college, especially the ones who are educated from convent schools, it is really tough to even have a discussion or conversation around such topics. They will simply or blatantly call me the Andhbhakt or someone who is a BJP supporter and wouldn't really like to listen to the arguments. In fact, the type of content which which is easily accessible to them, that content is mostly left inclined or biased, and it is again really tough to get them to read anything which would work as an eye opener for them. So, do you have any suggestion as to how, apart from social media, we can get the youth to know the reality? Or
exactly, this is what I say, refer to be apologists. They are the apologists for Christianity. They are not Christians, but they are apologists, and they are more dangerous. That's what I told in the beginning. And there are extreme cases called urban Naxals. So you are talking about the apologists. Any person who has studied in these institutions comes out with a spineless person. He may be a highly qualified professional, but without spine. He loses his very temperament to distinguish between right and wrong, dharma and adharma, satya and asatya. That senses he loses. So this is the result of convent education. So it's a really tough challenge. Rather, I would say government can do a lot in controlling these institutions. They have given a free hand to the institutions. Their aid and their land, green and all. Again, we have to question and persuade the government, have a control over them, because you have given them for education. And what they produce apologists or urban Naxals.
very true, sir. Sir, in fact, that was about to be my follow-up question. That how can government actually interfere and control or monitor such institutions? Is there any provision in the constitution?
If they want to do, they can do. The provisions, I can't talk to you openly. It's not a thing to be spoken openly. Rather, there are, yes, I said, no, if the administrator, if the ruler wants, he can do it. If he wants, it's a question of will. I can give number of suggestions, of course, not in the public platform. There are ways and means, provided they have the spine to do, they have the will to do, and they have the commitment. It's possible.